There is something happening around you that you may not have fully noticed yet. Someone in your circle is struggling to control the feelings they have developed for you, and the more they try to hide it, the more obvious it becomes. You may have noticed the lingering looks, the unexpected messages, the strange nervousness, the sudden interest in your life, or the way this person seems to find every possible reason to be near you. What they once considered a simple connection may have quietly transformed into something much deeper. They may have tried to convince themselves that they could ignore it, that these feelings would eventually disappear, but every interaction with you seems to pull them in even further. There is something about your presence, your confidence, your energy, and the way you carry yourself that has touched a place within them they did not expect anyone to reach. And now they are caught between wanting to reveal everything and being terrified of what might happen if they do. Maybe they are watching you from a distance, waiting for the right moment, trying to understand whether you feel the same way. Maybe they are acting unusually because they are fighting emotions that have become impossible to silence. But one thing is becoming increasingly clear. Someone around you cannot help themselves. They are falling hard for you. And in this powerful message, we are going to uncover the signs, the hidden emotions, the internal battle, and the reason this person may be getting closer to you, even when they are desperately trying to play it cool. So stay until the end, because what you are about to discover may completely change the way you look at someone who has been quietly watching, caring, and feeling far more than they have ever admitted. They're trying to hide it, but their actions keep revealing everything. There is a person around you who may be going through a private emotional battle that you cannot see from the surface. They may look calm when they are around you. They may speak casually. They may even pretend that your presence does not affect them. But underneath that controlled exterior, something much stronger may be happening. They are developing feelings that they did not plan for. And the more they try to suppress those emotions, the more their behavior begins to reveal the truth. This is what makes hidden attraction so fascinating. Words can be carefully chosen, expressions can be controlled, and people can convince themselves that they are simply being friendly, but genuine emotions have a way of escaping through the smallest details. The way someone looks at you can reveal what they refuse to say. The way they remember something you mentioned weeks ago can reveal how closely they have been paying attention. The way they suddenly become nervous, excited, protective, or unusually interested whenever you appear may be telling a story their mouth is not ready to tell. You may have noticed moments that seemed insignificant at the time, but when you put them together, a completely different picture begins to emerge. Maybe this person finds reasons to start conversations with you, even when there is nothing important to discuss. Maybe they send you a message, and then continue the conversation longer than necessary. Perhaps they ask questions about your plans, your interests, your dreams, or even the people in your life. They may casually mention things you told them before, proving that your words stayed in their mind long after the conversation ended. That is not always accidental. When someone becomes emotionally interested in another person, ordinary details suddenly become valuable. They remember your favorite things. They notice changes in your mood. They recognize when something is different about you before other people do. They may not understand why they are paying such close attention, but their emotions are quietly directing their focus toward you. And then there are the moments when their confidence disappears. Someone who normally seems completely comfortable may suddenly become awkward when you walk into the room. They may look at you and quickly look away when you catch them. They may laugh more than usual around you, stumble over their words, or become strangely quiet because they are afraid their feelings will become obvious. Sometimes attraction does not make a person more confident. It makes them vulnerable. They suddenly care about how they appear in your eyes. They wonder whether you notice their reaction. They replay conversations after they end, wondering if they said too much or too little. They may even create distance temporarily because being close to you makes their emotions feel too intense. But here is the fascinating part. The more they attempt to hide their feelings, the more their actions may expose them. They might disappear for a while and then suddenly return with an excuse to reconnect. They might act indifferent in public, but become completely different when the two of you are alone. They could pretend not to care about your attention while secretly noticing exactly who receives it. They may become curious about your relationships, your plans, and whether someone else has captured your interest. They are not necessarily ready to admit jealousy, but their reactions may reveal that your attention matters to them more than they want you to know. Perhaps what makes this situation so powerful is that you never asked this person to fall for you. You did not have to chase them, convince them, or prove your worth. You simply continued being yourself. Your authenticity may be exactly what attracted them. There is something powerful about a person who does not have to force attention to receive it. Your confidence, your individuality, your kindness, your resilience, or even the way you remain focused on your own journey may have made a deeper impression than you realize. While you were busy living your life, someone else may have been quietly observing you and discovering more reasons to admire you. So do not overlook the subtle signs simply because there has been no dramatic confession yet. Feelings often begin quietly before they become impossible to hide. This person may still be trying to understand what is happening inside their own heart. They may be asking themselves when this connection became so important and why they cannot simply walk away from it. But if their actions consistently show attention, care, curiosity, nervousness, and a desire to remain connected, there may be more beneath the surface than they are willing to admit. Sometimes the heart speaks before the lips ever find the courage to speak. And right now, someone around you may be saying far more through their actions than they could ever express with words. Your energy has become impossible for them to resist. There is something about you that this person cannot quite explain, and that may be exactly why their feelings have become so powerful. They may have originally noticed you for something simple, a conversation, a smile, the way you carried yourself, your confidence, your kindness, or even the way you remained calm when everyone else was trying to get attention. But what began as a passing observation gradually became something they could not ignore. The more they saw you, the more they discovered. And now, instead of simply noticing you, they are emotionally drawn toward you. There is a difference between finding someone attractive and feeling genuinely captivated by their presence. Attraction can happen quickly, but fascination grows through observation. This person may have started paying attention to the little things about you, and those little things have slowly become the very reasons they cannot get you out of their mind. You may not even realize how much your presence affects them. You walk into a room and their mood changes. You speak, and they listen more carefully than they listen to anyone else. You smile, and they remember that moment later. You become quiet, and suddenly they wonder whether something is wrong. Your absence may even become noticeable to them in ways they never expected. They might look for you without consciously realizing it. They may check their phone hoping to see your name. They may revisit conversations you had and wonder what you really meant by certain words. What makes this so interesting is that you may not be doing anything deliberately. You are simply being yourself while their emotions are creating meaning around every interaction. Your energy may be attracting them because it represents something they deeply value. Maybe you have an independence they admire. Maybe you possess a calmness that makes them feel safe. Maybe you have survived difficult moments without allowing those experiences to destroy your spirit. Perhaps you have a warmth that makes people feel seen, or a confidence that does not require approval from anyone. Whatever the reason, something about you has reached beyond surface-level attraction. They are not simply fascinated by how you look. They may be fascinated by how you make them feel. Around you, they may feel understood, inspired, challenged, or strangely comfortable. That emotional experience can become incredibly difficult to walk away from. And sometimes the strongest attraction happens when someone realizes that they cannot control the connection. They may have initially tried to categorize you as just a friend, a colleague, an acquaintance, or someone they casually knew. But their own feelings refuse to stay inside that category. The more they interacted with you, the more those boundaries began to disappear. Suddenly, they cared about your opinion. Your attention mattered. Your approval mattered. Your presence mattered. And perhaps most importantly, your absence started to matter too. That is when a person begins realizing that something has changed inside them. They may even attempt to distract themselves. They could focus on work, spend more time with other people, stay busy, or convince themselves that they are imagining the connection. But emotional attraction does not always disappear simply because someone refuses to acknowledge it. In fact, resistance can sometimes make the feelings feel even stronger. The person may find themselves thinking about you during ordinary moments when there is no obvious reason for you to be on their mind. A song, a place, a phrase, a familiar situation. Something small can suddenly remind them of you, and before they know it, they are back inside their thoughts, wondering what it would be like to become closer to you. There is also something incredibly powerful about the fact that you may not be chasing them. Your ability to remain focused on yourself may actually be increasing their interest. When someone sees that you are comfortable in your own world, they may become curious about becoming part of it. You are not begging for attention. You are not desperately trying to prove yourself. You are simply living, growing, and becoming more confident in who you are. That kind of self-assurance can be magnetic because it communicates something words cannot. You know your value. But remember, genuine feelings should ultimately be demonstrated through respect, consistency, honesty, and healthy communication, not merely assumptions or hidden signs. If this person truly cares, their actions over time will become clearer. They will make an effort to know you, respect your boundaries, support your growth, and create opportunities for meaningful connection. The strongest attraction is not just about intensity, it is about intention. So allow the situation to unfold naturally. You do not need to force a confession or chase an answer. Sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is continue being authentically yourself and let people reveal what they truly feel through the choices they make. Someone may already be deeply captivated by your presence, but the real beauty begins when admiration transforms into courage, honesty, and genuine connection. They keep finding reasons to get closer to you. Sometimes people reveal their feelings without ever saying the words, and one of the clearest signs is the effort they make to remain connected to you. Someone around you may be finding more and more reasons to enter your world, even when there is no obvious reason for them to do so. What appears to be a random message, an unnecessary question, a casual check-in, or an unexpected appearance may actually be their way of creating another opportunity to interact with you. They may tell themselves that they are simply being friendly, helpful, or curious, but deep down, they may know that they are looking for something more. Another moment with you. The interesting thing about genuine attraction is that people rarely need a dramatic excuse to move closer. They start creating small opportunities because being around the person they admire feels rewarding. They want to hear your voice, see your reaction, learn what you are thinking, and experience the energy they feel whenever you are near. And if you have noticed someone repeatedly appearing in your conversations or finding ways to stay connected, there may be more emotion behind those actions than they are willing to admit. Think about the little patterns that are easy to overlook. Maybe they suddenly ask for your opinion about something they could easily decide themselves. Maybe they send you something that reminded them of a conversation you once had. Perhaps they offer help before you even ask for it. They may remember your schedule, notice when you are unusually quiet, or ask how something important in your life turned out. These details can become meaningful because attention requires intention. When someone genuinely cares about knowing you, they begin collecting pieces of your story without even realizing it. They remember what excites you, what frustrates you, what makes you laugh, and what you once said you wanted to accomplish. Their curiosity about you becomes deeper because they are no longer satisfied with simply knowing your name or having occasional conversations. They want to understand the person behind the surface. You may also notice that this person behaves differently when they are around you compared with everyone else. Around other people, they may be confident, relaxed, and completely comfortable. But when you appear, their energy shifts. They may become more playful, more attentive, quieter, or even unusually nervous. They might suddenly care about how they look or how they sound. They could become more conscious of every word they say, because your opinion carries more weight than they want to admit. This does not automatically prove romantic feelings, but when these behaviors repeatedly appear alongside consistent effort to connect with you, they can indicate that your presence has become especially important to them. There may even be moments when they create distance, and this can make the situation confusing. One day they seem eager to talk, and the next they become strangely quiet. One moment they are reaching towards you, and the next they pull back. This kind of push and pull can happen when someone feels emotionally vulnerable. They may want closeness but fear what closeness could mean. They may worry about rejection, embarrassment, timing, or changing the relationship. So they take a step forward, become aware of their own feelings, and then retreat to protect themselves. But eventually their desire to reconnect may become stronger than their fear, and they return with another conversation, another message, another excuse to be near you. What makes this especially powerful is that you do not have to chase this person. If their feelings are genuine, you will not need to constantly force communication or create every opportunity yourself. They will participate, they will make an effort, they will show up consistently. They will look for ways to understand you rather than simply impress you. And as time passes, their actions should become clearer instead of more confusing. Real interest has a pattern. It is not just one intense moment followed by complete indifference. It appears through consistency, respect, curiosity, and the willingness to invest time. Perhaps this person has already started imagining what a deeper connection with you could look like. They may wonder what it would be like to spend more time together, have more meaningful conversations, or become someone you trust. They may be silently asking themselves whether you have noticed their efforts. They might even be waiting for the smallest sign that you are comfortable with them coming closer. And while they may not have the courage to make a bold confession yet, their behavior could be slowly building toward one. So watch the pattern, not just the moment. Notice who consistently makes an effort, who remembers what you say, who respects your boundaries, who celebrates your victories, and who finds genuine reasons to remain connected to you. Do not mistake every friendly gesture for romance, because kindness and friendship matter too. But if someone repeatedly chooses your company, seeks your attention, remembers the smallest details about you, and seems increasingly invested in your life, it is reasonable to wonder whether their heart is moving closer even before their words catch up. Sometimes love does not arrive with a dramatic announcement. Sometimes it begins with a simple message, a lingering conversation, a thoughtful gesture, and someone quietly finding one more reason to be near you. They're fighting a battle between their feelings and their fear. Sometimes the strongest feelings are not the easiest ones to express. A person can deeply admire someone and still be terrified of what those emotions might mean. That may be exactly what is happening with someone around you. They could be developing feelings that have grown far beyond what they originally expected, yet instead of confidently moving toward you, they may find themselves caught between desire and fear. One side of them wants to get closer, talk to you more, understand you, and eventually reveal what is happening inside their heart. Another side tells them to slow down, stay quiet, protect themselves, and avoid becoming vulnerable. This internal conflict can create behavior that seems confusing from the outside. They may be warm one day and distant the next, deeply interested in one conversation and strangely quiet during another. But beneath that inconsistency may be someone trying to understand emotions they never planned to experience. Perhaps they did not expect you to become important to them. Maybe they initially saw you as someone they simply enjoyed talking to. There was no plan, no expectation, and no intention of becoming emotionally attached. But little by little, something changed. They started looking forward to seeing you. They began remembering things you said. Your opinions started carrying more weight. Your attention began to matter. Suddenly, they realized that your presence had become part of their emotional world. And that realization can be frightening, because once someone understands that they genuinely care, they also realize they have something to lose. The possibility of rejection becomes real. The possibility of embarrassment becomes real. Even the possibility of changing the relationship forever can make someone hesitate. This person may therefore be asking themselves questions they have never had to ask before. What if they do not feel the same way? What if I say too much? What if I ruin what we already have? What if I become too attached? These questions can create a wall between what someone feels and what they are willing to reveal. They may want to tell you everything, but fear keeps their words trapped inside. They may write a message and delete it. They may prepare to say something meaningful and then change the subject. They look at you with obvious affection and then quickly hide the expression when they realize you noticed. Their heart may be moving forward while their mind is desperately applying the brakes. And sometimes this fear is not necessarily about you. It may come from their own past. Perhaps they have experienced disappointment before. Maybe they trusted someone and were hurt. Maybe they have spent years protecting their emotions because vulnerability once cost them deeply. When a person has learned to guard their heart, developing genuine feelings can feel like standing at the edge of a cliff. They want the connection, but they are afraid of the fall. So they may approach carefully, testing whether you are trustworthy, whether you respect them, and whether the connection feels safe enough to explore. That is why patience can be more powerful than pressure. If someone is genuinely struggling with vulnerability, forcing them to confess before they are ready may cause them to retreat further. You do not need to interrogate their feelings or demand immediate answers. Instead, allow their behavior to speak over time. Genuine interest should eventually move toward greater honesty and consistency. Someone who truly wants a meaningful connection will gradually become more comfortable showing up, communicating clearly, and respecting your boundaries. Fear may slow them down, but healthy feelings should not require manipulation, games, or emotional confusion forever. You may also notice that they become especially attentive when you need support. They might check on you after a difficult day, celebrate your accomplishments, or remember something important that others overlooked. These moments can reveal a deeper emotional investment because caring is not always about romantic words. Sometimes it appears through presence. Sometimes it looks like listening. Sometimes it is simply being there when someone needs encouragement. If their concern for you is consistent and respectful, it may show that your well-being has become personally meaningful to them. But here is the most important part. You should never feel responsible for resolving someone else's emotional battle. Their fear belongs to them. Their healing belongs to them. Their courage must ultimately come from within them. You can create a welcoming environment, but you cannot force someone to become emotionally ready. If they truly want to move closer, they will eventually have to choose honesty over fear. They will have to stop hiding behind excuses and allow themselves to be known. So if you sense that someone around you is caught between affection and hesitation, do not immediately assume that every confusing action has a hidden romantic meaning. Look for patterns, consistency, respect, and genuine communication. Feelings become meaningful when they are supported by healthy actions. Perhaps this person is slowly gathering the courage to admit what their heart already knows. Perhaps they are realizing that running from their feelings will not make them disappear. And maybe, sooner than they expect, they will understand that vulnerability is not weakness. Sometimes vulnerability is the doorway through which genuine connection enters. The heart may whisper for a long time, but eventually, courage has to speak. What they feel is becoming too strong to keep hidden. There comes a moment when feelings become so powerful that pretending becomes more exhausting than admitting the truth. Someone around you may be approaching that moment right now. They may have spent weeks, months, or even longer trying to convince themselves that what they feel is nothing serious, that they are simply fascinated by you, that they are only being friendly, or that the connection will eventually fade. But emotions do not always disappear simply because someone refuses to acknowledge them. Sometimes they grow quietly in the background until suddenly the person realizes that you have become far more important to them than they ever intended. The small thoughts become frequent thoughts. The occasional curiosity becomes genuine concern. The casual conversations become moments they look forward to. And the person who once believed they could easily control their emotions may now be realizing that their heart has developed a mind of its own. You may begin noticing a change in the way they interact with you. Their attention may become more intentional. Instead of simply reacting when you speak, they may actively seek your opinion. Instead of waiting for you to start a conversation, they may begin initiating contact. Instead of casually acknowledging your presence, they may make an effort to spend meaningful time with you. The difference is subtle but powerful. They are no longer simply responding to opportunities to connect with you. They are creating those opportunities themselves. When someone's feelings deepen, their behavior often becomes more deliberate. They begin looking for ways to become part of your world because your world has started to matter to them. Perhaps they have also become more observant. They notice when you change your appearance, when your mood is different, or when something seems to be bothering you. They remember conversations that you barely remember having. They may recall your favorite things, your goals, your frustrations, and the stories you shared casually. That kind of attention can reveal emotional investment. People naturally pay closer attention to what matters to them. And if this person seems to remember details about you that others overlook, it may be because their mind has quietly placed you in a very important category. There may also be a new emotional intensity in their reactions. Your attention might make them unusually happy. Your distance might affect them more than they expect. Seeing you connect with someone else might trigger feelings they struggle to explain. A simple compliment from you may stay in their thoughts for hours. A short conversation may become something they replay later. These reactions do not automatically prove romantic feelings, but when they appear alongside consistent effort and growing closeness, they can suggest that the connection has become emotionally significant. What makes this stage so fascinating is that the person may still be trying to hide everything. They may think they are being subtle, but their consistency keeps exposing them. They might say they are not interested, while constantly finding reasons to be near you. They might pretend not to care while remembering every little detail you share. They might act completely composed until you unexpectedly catch them looking at you. Their words may say one thing, but their repeated actions may communicate something entirely different. Eventually, the gap between what they say and what they do can become impossible to maintain. And perhaps the biggest sign is not how they behave during one extraordinary moment, but how consistently they treat you over time. Genuine feelings are not proven by one intense look or one emotional conversation. They are revealed through patterns. Someone who truly cares will make an effort to know you, respect you, support you, communicate with you, and honor your boundaries. They will not need to manipulate you or play endless games to maintain your attention. As their feelings become stronger, healthy affection should become clearer, not more chaotic. There may come a point when they can no longer remain silent. Maybe they will finally tell you how they feel. Maybe they will invite you somewhere, start a deeper conversation, or openly acknowledge that they value the connection. It may happen through a direct confession, or it may begin with a simple sentence that carries much more meaning than it appears to. The important thing is that eventually, genuine feelings demand some form of honesty. A person can hide emotions for a while, but they cannot indefinitely hide the choices those emotions inspire. So if someone around you seems increasingly drawn toward you, do not rush to force an answer. Let their actions unfold naturally. Give them space to demonstrate whether their interest is genuine, respectful, and consistent. You do not have to chase someone into revealing their heart. You do not have to convince anyone of your worth. You certainly do not have to become someone else just to keep their attention. Continue being yourself. Continue growing. Continue protecting your peace. If their feelings are real, they will eventually have to meet the courage required to express them, because sometimes the most beautiful connections begin quietly. Two people may start as strangers, acquaintances, or casual friends, never imagining that something deeper could develop. Then one day, one of them realizes that the other person has become impossible to ignore. The thoughts are stronger, the desire to connect is deeper, and the heart is no longer satisfied with pretending. Perhaps someone around you is reaching that point now. They may still be nervous, they may still be uncertain, they may still be trying to hide behind casual behavior. But if their actions continue pointing towards you, eventually the truth will have nowhere left to hide. What started as a simple attraction may be transforming into something much deeper, and sooner or later, their heart may finally become brave enough to say what their actions have been revealing all along.